Okay. First question for the gentleman. Are you ready, guys? So, gentlemen, this is for you. What is the best way to approach a woman when she is mad?
Run away and hide, I think.
Okay, let's start, Mark. Noel, start Noel.
Uh, I think humor. Humor is the best way to approach a woman in any circumstance. A friend of mine always says, the moment you make a woman laugh, 50% you have it already.
Mm. How about you, Mark?
I would say deny, apologize, and if that doesn't work, run the other way. Um, no, I think for me, it's all about listening. I don't know, maybe it's more has to do with my wife and her personality as compared with the other members of the panel. But I think if you understand what the concern is, what you've done wrong. Usually, you start with what have I done wrong, and then you listen and understand. That's probably the best way.
That's a good one. Okay, how about you, Dan?
Well, keep my mouth shut as well, and try as much as possible to understand the situation, and then hopefully provide humor and get it going again.
This is great. Okay, Eden.
I discovered this amazing and very innovative technique called talking. So, so when a woman is mad, you talk, and how do you do that? You ask questions. Ask as many questions as you can, and listen. Really listen. Except when she is mad at you. In that case, shut up and listen.
Listen. Okay, Richard, you be careful, huh?
Well, sometimes it's hard to know what you did that she's mad, but you assume you did something, and so you try to do something nice. I think this is my technique. So you try to, would you like a glass of water? Here's your glass of water. Cut some fruit for her, or some little things like this, and usually they're pushovers, and you got them every time.
Okay.
But
girls, would you agree what they said? Can you comment? Yeah? Oh, can you please share the mic? Yeah. Okay. Mary.
Richard's reply was offer something, say a glass of water. Maybe yes, but a hug, perhaps, a kiss. From of course.
Okay,
from
gentlemen, are
ex-boyfriend.
you listening?
I prefer
Yeah, hug, kiss.
Yeah, a kiss, a hug, or actually a hug before going to bed. Perhaps so that you don't go to bed with mixed or negative emotions.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
my answer. That's my comment.
Okay. You first.
Okay, did you hear what Nina said? But anyway, for me, I think there's a lot of common sense in what how the boys answered, and I think the best way really is like if your lady is mad, if your woman is mad, just shut the hell up and listen to what she has to say, and then you'll be in good hands and you'll be safe for the night.
You okay? Okay.
can we have the fellas introduce themselves, because some people won't know them.
That's right.
Please.
Can you introduce yourself first? I'm sorry, I forgot. You see, I'm learning.
My name is Noel Lorenzana. I'm the CEO for MediaQuest. We own TV5, Signal TV, some print assets, Philippine Star, and Business World. Prior to that, I was CEO for Unilever Malaysia, Singapore. We've lived in different countries: Jakarta, China, Malaysia, Singapore. I have one wife, 3 kids.
And if I can say, his wife, his very attractive and very sharp wife, spoke last year at this event, and she was just a fabulous speaker, dynamic, and very attractive too. I can say.
That makes you chop liver, is it?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Mark Lewin. I'm the CEO for AIG Insurance. We have about 4,000 employees here in the Philippines, running 3 different companies. There's a shared services IT company, BPO, and then also our insurance company. Across our entire population, though, over 65% of our employees are women. So we look at our women employees being the future for our succession planning as well as our growth here in the Philippines. So the topic we have today about the Women's Summit is absolutely core to our business success in the long term. From a personal standpoint, also married, one wife, 3 children. My wife is also a working mother. She's a dietitian as well as working in the sport and health industry, so also balancing a career and home as well.
Very good.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Dan Reyes. I'm currently the chairman of the IT BPO Association of the Philippines, as well as the country manager for Genpact, which is an IT BPO company. Been with the industry for 20 years, and been promoting and espousing the IT BPO industry, which is no longer the sunrise industry, but one of the significant industries in the Philippines today. I'm also married with my only wife and 3 kids.
And Dan has been certainly a leader in this BPO industry, one of the founders of the IT BPAP organization, and a real motivator for the industry. But also his wife is a professional with Unilever.
My wife's also from Unilever. She's regional HR director based in Singapore right now. So I'm a nanay and tatay currently here in the Philippines.
But another successful Filipina, palakpakan natin siya.
Hi, my name is Dr. Hayden Ko. I'm a doctor. I used to, my former job used to be making women feel better about themselves by doing cosmetic procedures under Bella. But currently, I'm one of the hosts of TV5, and Noel is actually my boss right now. And I run Hayden Fragrances, and this animation studio, which we make apps and websites. Yeah.
Oh, very interesting.
Would you like to introduce yourself a little bit, Richard?
Oh, me. Well, you heard a bit of the story. We met. How much of the story do you want me to give?
How I dated you?
I was yes, some violins maybe. No, we met in. I met my wife Rebecca in Canada. She emigrated there, and she pursued me, as you heard, and we fell in love, and we came back here. It was supposed to be for 6 months, and now it's been 14 years or something like that. So we see a big opportunity and a big growth for all Filipinos here, and I think all of us guys. I know our friend Mark Lewin, for instance, he just returned back here for his second posting. Also, I know he looks Filipino guy, but he's actually an American guy. And I really enjoyed his stay here, seeing a lot of opportunities. So there's a lot of excitement in Philippines, and this is what we're really focusing on. And I know, with Dan and all of the guys, there's many opportunities here. So we want to promote that, to women, yes, of course, today's thing, but to all Filipinos, these opportunities. I didn't quite answer your question, but I hope it sounds good.
Okay, let's continue now because he won't stop talking. Okay, these questions again for the man. Okay, ready? As a man to your woman, what can you contribute to her life to make it more meaningful? Let's start with you, Hayden.
That is a very deep question. What makes life meaningful? Really?
To your woman.
In our case, Vicky and I, no, I'm not married. I don't have kids, but I'm heavily devoted to my Vicky here.
Oh, wow. But getting married after this, I think.
But really, just thinking about it right now, I don't think I can offer anything material to Vix. But, Okay, what makes life meaningful? What makes life meaningful is when you understand the whole story of life and you know your place in it. You understand what I mean? For example, yung movie na Inception, you see a spinning wheel. That's spinning top. If you, siguro pumasok ka ng movie house because your wife is late and dumating ka sa movie house and you see this spinning top and you wonder, what does this mean? Di ba? Parang, yeah, it's just a spinning top. No one understands it. But when you understand the full story and the role of that spinning top in the movie, from start to finish, natapos mo, then you understand the meaning of life. So the question is, how do I make life meaningful for
You're a
Vicky?
woman.
I think my role, I think, is to provoke her into having a deeper relationship with God. That way she will understand what her life means. And I'm also doing my part as a husband in making sure that I can present not just Vicky, but even my friends holy and presentable to God when that day comes, that he comes back here.
Thank you.
Moving.
Richard, how can you make your woman meaningful? I'm listening.
Sometimes it is, it's harder for guys, maybe if I can explain to them, but it's harder sometimes for guys to know what because because with men, like someone said, it's more black and white, I think, where, and men are maybe a bit more primitive too. Our needs are very basic, there's the physical needs, there's financial needs, and that's what we think, yes. But with women, maybe it sometimes seems like you have to be a bit of a mind reader for, to figure out what actually they want. Whereas if they just tell us, yes, if you want me to tell you that you look pretty and your bum isn't
In
big,
short, Richard, women
I'll
are
say it.
emotional, right?
Well, but women want you to figure out that you want them to tell them that their new dress that they just bought is nice, but guys are not going to be able to do that. They're just not smart enough, you know what I mean? So they
Girls,
gotta be
is that
told these
reality?
kinds of things
Or
that-
just Richard?
This is me talking. Oh, God.
Okay, let's move on, Dan. What do you
Move
think,
on.
Dan? Exciting, right?
Well, I subscribe to the formula of a happy wife, happy life. And
Yes.
so, if I can provide support, encouragement, friendship, I think that's really the thing that I try to do day in, day out. And in a relationship that is, both of us have careers, trying to achieve something. I think it's important that you tend to sort of support each other, push each other, and be able to actually meet your goals together.
Yeah. Wow, he's a real gentleman. Yeah, palakpakan natin si Dan. Ang galing. He's a good husband. Okay, Mark.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe I'll just build on Dan's comments here in terms of support for your wife. And I guess thinking in the context of the Women's Summit and in terms of balancing work and a family life, I guess it really comes to defining goals for you as a family, the two of you as a family, so they truly are shared goals. Often it's just assumed the guy's going to go work, the woman's going to either stay at home or sacrifice her career, for the family, and that works for many families. In many cases, it's worked for ours, but that was not just assumed. That was part of the discussion that we had, an agreement that we had in our early days of our marriage and our relationship, and that was the best way that I could support her, was to agree on what do we want together out of life. And I guess the other thing I would just add to that is that, and also not assuming that's forever and forever, amen. We've gone through different phases in our life, from married without children, married with young children, and now married with slightly older children, and the needs have changed at each step along the way. And so also my role and our role together, how we interact and how we support her, has changed as well. And I'm sure my next step, that'll probably mean that I will have to make some career sacrifices to support her and her career. And so that's part of the evolution of our relationship and the support that I can provide for her.
Fantastic. Richard, are you listening? Okay, no.
Well, for Gina and myself, we normally talk about legacy. What is our legacy as a family? What is her legacy as a couple? And therefore, what is her legacy as a woman? And it changes depending on which stage in your life you're in. Right now, we were in Jakarta before, and a number of mothers were talking at the table, and they're talking about what they want their children to be. So one mother said, "I want my child to be a doctor." One mother said, "I want my child to be a lawyer." And they asked Gina, "What do you want your children to be?" And she goes, "I just want my children to be good people and happy people. And whatever it is they do, it's up to them. So I guess in this point, our legacy is the children. But she does have some things that add on to her legacy as well. She cares about the environment, she cares about social justice, and I'll be there for her. So
Wow.
in whatever way I can.
Fantastic. Women, what do you think? Can you share something how you work with your husband?
I think I've been very fortunate to have a very supportive husband, given that we were a two-career family very early on. And instinctively, I think we knew what the roles are. And home management was mine, for example. But because I traveled a lot, and 70% of my time, we would not travel at the same time, even though there were demands on both sides. But I think it talks to communicating very well. We have 5 beautiful and wonderful children, and they're all very successful in their own right at this time. And I think I could not ask for more. And if there's one thing that people ask me, I dream for my children now, and I dream for our grandchildren as well.
Wow.
So it's been a very blessed life, and thank you.
Wow. All right. Kim?
Yeah, well, I would like to add to what our gentleman had said earlier. I think support is really important. And I think another question perhaps that, other people would say or other people would ask would be, how would you deal with a situation where your wife is more successful than you? And this becomes more significant in the Filipino family because traditionally we are patriarchal. So in the West, that doesn't seem to be a bit of a problem or less of a problem. But in Asia, especially in the Philippines, country like ours, that's really a major concern. So for me, number one, the support. When you say support, it's not just I support you, my dear, in what you do. You have to share the responsibility. On a personal level, I taught my husband how to take care of my kids. I mean, physically, like when they were kids, when they were young, because when I had to go on a campaign, I just gave birth in December of 2000, and in January 2001, I had to go on a campaign. So it was a nationwide campaign, and my little one was still an infant. He was barely 1 month old. So I said, you have to help me by actually taking care of our kids, especially the little one, because that would make me feel less guilty, and that is the way I want for you to support me in my cause. So those two things for me.
Mary, would you like to add to that?
Sure. I like Mr. Lorenzana's answer. Having a very supportive ex-boyfriend, I call him an ex-boyfriend, is really very important. In my case, I am a controller, I'm a student, I am a wife, I am a mother, I am a grandmother. He is really very supportive. He waits for 4 or 5 hours in school. He drives me crazy. Actually, he drives me from home to work, to school, back to home. Sometimes he prepares my favorite food, especially when I'm highly stressed. So having a supportive husband to make you happy, not only meaningful but happy, it's very important, because a happy wife is a happy life and a happy family.
Correct.
Can I just say something? Ladies, do not rely on your men to make you happy. First and foremost, you have to be happy with yourselves, right? And it is not a dependency thing, it's a partnership. And that's very important, because you should be able to be happy on your own. You may be alone but not lonely. Having said that, however, it's very important also to keep the relationship warm and really work on it. It's work in progress all the time until the end of life.
That's so true. I can also share something. How I make Richard happy. Are you ready, Richard? I make him like a king outside, but inside I'm the boss. Isn't that good? You have to make your man, proud outside. Even though you're upset, treat him like the king, and he will love you forever. And we've been married for 20 years. And I'm sure he won't leave me after tonight. Okay, more question to you guys. This for gentlemen. How would you complete this sentence? My woman is blank and why? Noel, you start. Be careful with Gina. I won't tell her.
I guess Gina's my biggest critic. It's not often I get the proper criticism, and she gives it to me. Sometimes we fight about it, but I realize that it makes me a better person, and she doesn't mince words, and I appreciate that.
Very nice. There's some gentlemen here? You guys, are you listening? And I think we have to learn something.
Yeah, I guess I would say my woman, Rebecca, is my greatest supporter.
Rebecca Lewin, not me, okay?
Yes. Sorry, Richard. But yeah, going back to the theme about support and providing support to a woman, to your spouse or to your wife, it works both ways. And I think you also alluded as well, Rebecca, to treat your husband like a king. Well, I try it and I aspire to treat her like a queen, and I know she treats me like a king. And part of the aspect is that the act of submission to one another. When I need something, she intuitively knows what my needs are, and she's willing to sacrifice for me. And I hope I can live up to the same standard for her. So yeah, she's my greatest supporter because she is willing to submit to me even when her own needs, putting my needs in front of hers.
How about you, Dan?
My wife Ira is the best thing that ever happened to me.
Wow. So girls, you're here learning something how you deal with your partners when you go home, right?
Okay. I think Dan cheated a bit. No, my wife is my partner.
What's the difference between foreigner and Filipino? Come on, Richard.
One question at a time, but my wife is my partner, so we work. It's different because many couples can't work together and live together. We have been able to. She's a very hard worker, very practical and focused, and all these kinds of things. So we can work, despite the fact that women are definitely different than men, and there is nothing that's going to make that go away. But that's okay.
Because women are special.
They are. They
Without
absolutely
women, there's
are.
no men, right?
No question about it. No question about it. And working together, you can achieve far more than you can. I'm a guy and you stay at home, or vice versa. That's my.
Okay, how about you, Hayden?
My woman is my desire.
Ooh.
And I don't care, how all the struggles that we have to go through, all the arguments, but that's how it is with desire, right? If you want something, you fight for it.
Correct.
So my woman is my desire.
Correct. Because if you don't fight, life is boring, right? Yes. Women, would you like to share something?
My woman is the best thing that ever happened to me. My woman is my desire.
Oh
my God. Hopelessly romantic. Parang sarap ah.
All right.
So good. I feel so in love hearing those words from this gentleman.
So gentlemen, when you go home, say that to your partner.
Yeah, what can you say to that? I mean, amazing answers. These boys did their homework, and I wish that we would hear those things that they're saying right now. I wish we would hear them long after this forum, this summit is over.
Yeah. But you know what? These questions, these gentlemen don't know. They're not ready. But look, they're speaking from their heart. Palakpakan natin sila. It's true, right? Yeah, okay. Next question.
There's more?
More. You know that in a relationship, it's very important to work together, especially not only love, but finances too. So the question is, between a man and a woman, who would you generally say is the money spender and who is the money saver? You start, Dan. You have the mic.
That's, I think I found myself in a situation difficult to answer. But no, I think truly also it depends on the, you know, during the time in your life. There are times wherein, you know, you know, men would probably be spending more. There will be times that women will be spending more depending on that situation
Yes.
in life, at what point you are.
Yes. Okay. Mark?
I guess I'll try not to make this answer too diplomatic, but I guess if you're truly married and a full partnership, then it shouldn't matter. And I guess that's the way I try to budget. You know, with my wife and our money, it's our money. And if we're spending on something, she's happy if I buy something that makes me happy, and I'm happy if she buys something that makes her happy. But we do have a budget, and we do track how much we're spending so we don't exceed our limits. But we look at it as our money, at least, and that's that we endeavor to. So it doesn't always work that easily, but that's truly what we aspire to.
Wonderful. How about you, Noel?
For those of you who were here when Gina and I spoke as a couple, I don't know if you remember what we said. We actually keep separate bank accounts. Well, from a practical standpoint, so at least when they give the gift to her, it's from my bank account, right?
Yeah.
And vice versa. But normally, and it's not really a rule, but this is how it happens. For the big investments, houses, businesses, I do it. For the everyday stuff, you know, like travel, maintaining the home, everything, that's her.
Yeah.
I don't know how it happened that way, but it did. So it just happened.
Yeah, great. Helen, do you owe? But I'm sure your own money and Vicky has her own.
Yeah, I
money,
think it really
right?
depends. I mean, some men spend more than their wives. Hopefully, they spend on their wives. I mean, and some women spend more than men. I don't know. Is there any fast and hard rule for that? I'm not really sure, but I just agree with them.
Yeah. Now I'm scared with Richard again because the first date I paid.
Well, she invited me. No, I mean, you know, the stereotype, and it isn't just a stereotype, but that women, you know, buy the smaller stuff and men only get involved with the bigger stuff. And if you walk into any shopping center, anybody will know that most of the stores and most of the square meters of space is devoted to products sold to women. So I would say that women spend more just because that's what you know, that they take on that role. I'm getting myself into trouble here, but you know that they go out and work as well, but they also are the ones primarily that are buying the groceries, the clothes and diapers for the kids and so on, right? Guys don't do that stuff.
But can I share something with that, with what Richard shared? You see, when I meet Richard, I already have my own business and I'm really independent. So as what Noel said, Richard was responsible on the big thing and I'm responsible with the little things. But then when we decided to live together, okay, so we budget the money and I'm able to really work with Richard how to budget our expenses. So he trusts me. So until now, he said, you're in charge. So all our funds, it's up to you. Because he trusts me and I'm able to manage little thing and big thing. That's how we work together. And I think that's very important. When man trusts you, he will let you handle everything. Is that, you agree, Richard?
Yeah, that's very true. Initially, we had separate bank accounts because many couples get into trouble where, you know, one is spending more than the other and these kinds of things. But over time, she is, despite her buying boyfriends dinners and stuff like this, she is very cheap. So I respect that. You know, she gets good prices for things. And it's important. It's important to a family's finances.
Okay, ladies, again, the reason why I spend, because that's investment. When I went out with him, that was investment. Because I know long term, he will pay me back. No, really, do you agree? Because before I went out with him, he's already qualified. I checked him out. I checked his background. He passed the qualifications. So I need to invest.
It's true. It's true.
That's the reality. Okay, we cannot talk about that right now, so next time we can talk about how to find a man. Okay, let's move on. I know I have a lot of questions, but one more question for you guys. Okay, for men and women, what three things have you done in your life that you are most proud of? Can you share to everyone? Who want to start with that? Okay. Oh no? Okay, Noel first then.
I think marrying Gina, I'm very proud of that. It really changed, of course, my life. You know, I mean, I could be in so much trouble if I did not. You know, so
Gina should be here, you know.
yeah. I think how the kids actually have turned, you know, into to good human beings. I'm very proud of that. And of course, our careers, how we've been able to not only affect our own lives and our own family, but also have a positive effect on other people. And I'm proud of that.
Wonderful.
Is that three?
Is that three? Did you count?
Marrying
Okay,
Gina,
three.
the kids,
Okay.
effect on other people.
You know Noel's children, can I say this? One daughter in Australia right now, and the second child in Toronto. They're both studying. Isn't that fantastic? Yes, they're spending money for their children, for the future of their children. Great parents. Diba? Yes. Mark.
Yeah, I guess my three greatest priorities in my life are my wife, my family, so my kids, well maybe four, my church, it's my spiritual life, and also my company, my professional obligations to the employees and to our customers, as well as to the business community that we fostered here in the Philippines and elsewhere with AIG. So I guess what makes me most proud in my life, well, it's being able to say truly that where do I spend my time, it actually matches those priorities. I would love to spend more time in the golf course. I'd love to spend more time in the bars, or maybe more time doing other recreational activities. But for me, my greatest commitment is to those four items, and that's where I spend my time. So being able to say, this is I'm going to invest my time on where the areas where I value. That's probably the best thing I could say, or hope that other people would say about me.
Wonderful. I think Richard's learning today. Okay, Dan?
So I'm very proud of my relationship with my wife. As Nina's mentioned, it's a work in progress. We just celebrated our 25th year anniversary last December. Of course, our three kids, Monica, Miggy, and Miko, has grown up to be very responsible citizens, as well as, of course, the opportunity to be able to give opportunities to others as well. I think that's also I'm very proud of the current position that I'm in, as well as the past associations that I've been in.
Because Noel, one of the person who developed the BPOP in Philippines, right, Noel? Dan? Yes. Palakpakan natin si Dan. It's just that I'm aging na, di ba? I'm forgiven. Kim, would you like to say something about that? What are no? The boys first? Okay. Would you like to say something?
Here, I'll say, I would say marrying my wife, certainly. The thing that she did for me was, I dated, in Toronto, it's a big city, you date a lot of girls.
100 women.
Well, many. It's a very vibrant city, many people from many different countries, so it's quite interesting dating women from all kinds of countries and places. But what she did was made it so clear that my life was better with her than without her. And a lot of, it's a simple thing, but a lot of girls.
That's why when I asked her to marry me, she said yes.
Well, it still took a while. But then the second thing was, I would say, coming to Philippines, I never dreamed in my life I would end up in Philippines, and I've met. I would say it's a great privilege to see Philippines really come up very strongly over the past few years, in a very exciting time, and I've really enjoyed myself and made many good friends here. So I'm really privileged and glad to come to Philippines. And the third thing is still a work in progress, but our kids. We've made good progress. We hope got to get them over into adulthood, but that would be the third thing. Heidi.
Yes, of course. Yeah, three things. Okay. Let me see. Of course, many of you guys know that my relationship with Vicky in the past was so, like this. But this is one thing I learned, and it comes from the Spanish proverb that I heard before, that he who has loved one has loved all women. He who has loved one woman has loved all of them, and he who has loved many has loved none. Say it again. He who has loved one woman has loved all of them. He who has loved many has loved none. And I think one of the best things I've ever done in my life is to understand what commitment means. And what that means is that even through hard times, you won't disappear. You won't flake. You're still there. The number one then, the best thing that I did is to make that commitment to my partner. Second, I think, and this I can share to all men. William Blake once said that this life's the windows of the souls, distorts the heavens from pole to pole, and leads you to believe a lie when you see with and not through the eye. We're supposed to see women with. We're supposed to see women through our eyes with love and conscience, and not with our eyes devoid of love. And I think that's what happened to me before. And I tell you, yung mga lalaki dito, tandaan nyo to, the relationship between man, human beings, and objects is that of consumption. But the relationship between a man, and another person, and another woman, is that of intimacy, of connection. I mean, man to objects is consumption. Man to another man is a connection. And when we treat women as objects, sa mga lalaki to, by watching pornography and all that, you are treating women as objects and you are consuming women. We have to treat women as human beings, and so our role is to have a connection with them. And realizing that is another, and putting it into my heart is the second decision I've ever made that's really amazing. Number 3 is our relationship with God, putting God at the center of our relationship. And I think that really completed what was lacking in the past. So there.
So it means you're getting married with Vicky soon? Okay, Richard. Oh no, you're done. How about the girls?
Yeah. The three most important things. Yeah. Well, number 1, despite all the challenges, being or remaining as a God-centered family would be the most important for us, because this enabled us to hurdle whatever challenges that were thrown at us. Second would be our kids, my kids. They were the happiness of my life up to now and will always be. And third, career. Yes, very fulfilling, very frustrating at times, but I think that's the way it is with almost all of us. So yeah, those are the top 3 things.
I guess for me, it was opening myself up and saying yes to my husband when he asked me to marry him. Second, of course, are the children that we have together. And as I said earlier, they are exceptional human beings. And they've grown up to be very, very, good and kind people. Our youngest son, for example, graduated almost summa cum laude from Fordham University. And he wrote us a very long letter to say that he wanted to come back after living in the US for a while, to be of service to others. And so he got himself involved with social entrepreneurship, and he's building aquaponics farms for NGOs and for Samar and for all over the place. We have I have 6 beautiful grandchildren.
Wow.
And the 2 girls and 4 boys. And again, my dream for them is that they grow up first knowing God and then loving Him.
And then there is my career, and it's continuing to be, I think, um, quite a source of joy, and I guess touching a lot more people than I would have. Coming home was one of the best things. I came home 3 years ago from various parts of the world to work here again. And in part, it was to see my mother through, who was like nearing death. She wasn't sick at all, but she was aging fast. She was near 92 when she passed last year. And that was a moment for me to be able to see her through. So it was a death watch, but at the same time, I also saw my two granddaughters born in New York, and I was in the birthing room for those moments. And it's such a wonderful, wonderful moment to be able to see another human being come out of your own daughter. So it's unimaginable, the joy of that. And within 3 hours, I was holding her, the last one, Sophia, and I had to be going to JFK for my flight home.
Wow.
So, but I guess these are the moments that define us more than how successful we are at work. But of course, that's also very important. I guess you reach a stage where other things matter more than just being successful at work. Of course, it pays the bills, no?
In my case, first thing, very first, marrying my king 38 years ago.
Wow.
Second, of course, raising three wonderful, amazing, happy kids, and now I have 6 grandkids and counting. And of course, last but not least, myself, I'm happy with my community. I'm able to pay back, paying forward. That's I think the 3 important things which I've done in my life.
Wonderful. Can we please give them a round of applause? And we would like to call on to Crystal to please come on the stage to please give gift to all our speakers and finalists, and then she can close. Yeah, the flowers. Stand up, yeah, it's there first, and then you can close. Yeah. No, you will be part. You are receiving gift too.
Naging event ka na. Okay, so again, on behalf of Rebecca's team, thank you again to all the speakers for coming. We have beautiful flowers. Even for the men, we have flowers? Or just for the girls? Oh, what giveaway do we have for the men? Oh, we have what do we have, Doris? They have a plaque. Okay. So thank you again. Meron pa bang other questions that they haven't answered, the men? I mean, this is our chance, ladies, to know what goes behind the psyche of these men. Parang minsan iniisip natin, weirdo nila, pero pala may rason. And may rason yung mga decisions na, yung mga actions nila. So okay, are we ready? Okay, so while we're bringing in the flowers and the plaques, does anyone have one question that I can ask Noel here, since, he's one of the... I was going to make him tukso, but I'm not going to tease him in front of you guys. No question. Mommy, what's your question? Oh, what keeps a guy faithful? Again, how many years ulit? Noel, how many you and 19 years with Gina. Okay, go.
Well, she has to keep being beautiful and sense of humor. And humor. Humor is very important. You have to laugh together.
So does it, like she has to give this bongang bonga laugh all the time when she hears a joke from you? Does that work? Okay, well anyway, thank you, Noel, for mentioning that she has to be Bello beautiful, because that leads into our Bello closing. So again, thank you to the men and to the women. Thank you for coming. Okay.
Thank you very much. Our next event, February 26th. It's called Young Leaders Summit. It will be in Marriott Hotel. Okay? So hope to see you guys. And so nice having you. And if you have any question, give us a call or call us anytime or meet us, and we'll be happy to help you. Thank you and have a great evening.